Hello National Capital Region, I'm Cyril Cinder, I'm a drag king, and I'm Mr. Capital Pride 2019-2020. And welcome to Youth Got Pride. This is an event for youth who identify as members of the 2S LGBTQA+ community to gather together and celebrate their pride. A great lineup of events for you this evening, and I'm so excited to be able to present them to you. I'm so excited that Capital Pride asked me to host this event. I think that it's really important that we include youth in events, especially in events like Pride. When we fail to include young people, we fail to include that essential perspective that keeps us growing and changing in vital and essential ways for our community. Those voices are the ones that keep us current, that keep us accountable, and that keep us relevant in ways that we simply can't be without their contributions. As someone who grew up as part of a generation that's not that old, but still took until our early 20s to figure out our sexual identities and even longer to figure out our gender identities, it is so inspiring to see youth today who feel so flexible and safe and comfortable to explore their gender identity and sexuality in whatever ways is important to them. And while we still have a long way to go to ensure that this world is safe for queer people under all shades of the rainbow, it is incredibly inspiring to see how far we can come in such a short period of time. Young people are using language that I wish I had grown. I know it's so corny, but you guys literally are sure, and I'm so inspired by the incredible things that I see you doing and creating every day, and I am just back here trying to gas you up and tell you to go get them. So with that, I hope some of us folks from the older generations are able to share with you some of the knowledge that we've been able to gain in our time so that you guys can take it and run with it. And I'm so glad we're able to gather virtually together no matter where we might be. I think that in this current pandemic, youth are particularly getting the short end of the stick. I mean, you guys might be going back to school in the fall, you might not. If you are going back to school, it might look really different than you thought it might be, or you were expecting it to just a year ago. Job prospects have changed, and frankly, things can be really scary. So I hope through this event and throughout all of Pride Week that you're able to come together to celebrate, to have a smile on your face, to connect with loved ones, be it virtually or with those people who are in your bubble, and just have a good time and enjoy yourselves, because man, do you ever deserve it right now. And on that note, our first event for today is the I'm That Queen makeup tutorial with the stunning Devana Coe.
Hey Ottawa, it's your girl Devana, and I'm here with Capital Pride to give you a makeup tutorial on this fierce drag eye. So, I always start off by putting a little foundation all over my face, but since we're just doing the eye, I'm only going to do this little area. Get a nice thick coat all over wherever you need it to go. I'll go up onto my temple, and then just with a little spongy sponge, just blend it in there. And obviously, I glued down my brow. I didn't have time to do that here, but basically just take a good old stick of Aylmer's glue and go over it, and then do it a couple coats, and in between each coat, just give yourself a little dry with cool air. And then because I have eyebrows like a normal person, I use some of this Ben Nye, which is just like a white cream, and you can go over it right there. And it just makes it look like you have a new brow bone higher than the brow bone that you usually have. And it'll also help hide it. And then you blend the same sponge or with a different sponge, up to you. But basically, you're just aiming to erase this whole eyebrow to let yourself work on a completely blank canvas. And obviously remember what you're doing it for. If you're doing it for a stage, it doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to notice all of the finer details. I got it in my eye. Ow. Now that you're all foundationed up, you go in with some setting powder right here and just dry out all that foundation. Be really generous about it. Don't inhale it, it sucks. Nice and dry now. Let that bake for a second, and then just blend it away. And remember that your makeup is not going to be perfect if it's your first few times doing it. I looked like a toad for the first year that I did drag. It is okay. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna get a little bit of brow powder, pomade, sorry, and I'll go in right here, right at the base of my normal brow, and go up to the top corner of my brow right there, just to start with. And that'll be my bottom of my brow, and then I'll go up to the top and just connect those corners. And then you want to go straight out. I usually go just below the little point in my hairline. And the longer the tail of your brow, the fiercer you're going to look. Now on the inside, you kind of want it to look like a real brow right here. So see how it fades from here to here? You're just going to take an almost empty brush, the same one you used, and just blend that in right there. It'll pick up any of the wet product from what you just put on. And the great Courtney Act taught me that once you think you're done blending, blend some more, because you're not done yet. My makeup is honestly just a combo of different people and different queens that I've met throughout the years. So see how that perfectly fades in there? And then I'll usually go in at this point with some more of my white cream. So I usually go in with like a little angled brush and just go underneath it right there. Make it nice and sharp. Now if you have shaky hands like I do, this part can be a little difficult, so just take your time. And then you're just going to want to blend that down and make it look like it's seamlessly flowing into the rest of your face. Also, if you're using creams, clean your brushes every single time you use them. I say that, but I don't do it. So then just blend that line out. Whenever you have a harsh line, you want it more blendy. Is that a word? It's not a word. It's going to be a word now. And then after that white is set, see how much higher this brow is than that one? It just makes your eye look that much bigger. Then, to give the brow even more dimension, on this exterior corner, I'm going to go in with a dark eyeshadow, just to make it look even more realistic. Because the way the light hit your face, it'll hit it here. So you really want to make it look like the sides of your face are darker. And then keep that blending down here. Just blend, blend, blend. That's really all makeup is. Over and over and over blending. And then what you're going to notice too is that throughout the time you're doing your makeup, it's going to fade. So it's not bad to go in over it again after about 10-15 minutes and touch it up just to make it even more saturated. Now the glue under there is moldable, so just tap it if you don't like what you see. I don't know why I'm tapping this brow. There's no glue there. So it's basically like a new face right there. I'm all about saving makeup. I hate wasting makeup, and I see all of these performers and makeup artists packing their eyelid with eyeshadow and then just covering up with eyeliner. So what I do is I'll actually go through and outline my eyeliner first, just so I know where I'm putting my eyeliner so that I don't waste a whole bunch of shadow underneath it. And I also find it blends better if you do it that way. So my first one is I'll do my inner corner, and you want to basically get a nice little point right in that inside corner. So I go from the bottom of my eyelid and then the inside of that little corner, and I get a nice sharp little corner, and that'll just make your eyes look really fierce. And then since I have hooded eyes, I actually go over my entire eyelid, and I have a lot of eyeliner, which is another reason why I don't like to waste my shadow. And then I'll go in the outside corner and basically point that wherever the brow was going. And then I'll go over that crease and connect those two lines. And then you're going to want this line to be super straight going to that line. Even though the face will curve, you want to kind of fight that curve. This part is probably one of the harder parts. And then your face is going to look different from every angle that you look at it from. So like it'll look completely different shape when I look at it like that compared to when I look at it like that. And also it doesn't have to be perfect because your lashes are going to be covering the majority of this anyway. I have really very minimal real lashes, so once I put on my fake lashes, they're basically touching this brow bone. So I just do the outline because it's all going to fade once I put shadow on. So all of this for right now is just going to stay hollow. Then for my lower liner, I'm going to do a little point right here from the outside of the corner. Just like that. And then you're going to square it off down here. Stay as close to the bottom of your lid as possible. And then open it up down here. We're going to come back to this later though. This is just a rough outline. So that's a good little outline right there. So you can know where the shadow is going to go. Then you're going to take an itty little bitty brush like that one, and I'm going to go in with a nude brown right there. Just get it nice and full, and then tap off all the excess so it doesn't fall onto your face. But if it does fall onto your face, always have a hairdryer handy so you can just blow it off. So then since I'm doing a cut crease, all of the area in here is going to stay blank for right now. And then I'm going to go in right near the nose bone, get as much product as you need. Right now we're just giving ourselves a rough shape. So then I just basically follow the same lines as my normal crease, but just like an inch higher. So then right now it looks kind of funny, but once we blend that out, that's going to look really good. So you want to connect it up here, just above the eyeball, like at the corner, right there. And then just blend it upwards. But remember, you want to keep a lot of this white just to make it look like you still have an eyeball, like an eye crease. Because if you don't, it'll just kind of make you look like a toad. Not that there's anything wrong with toads, but I don't think we want to look like them today. I'll usually connect my eyeshadow to my inner corner of my brow, and then you want to blend out as much as you can here. Because once again, you want it to look like it's naturally ending and it's not just cut off by a line. I'll usually switch to a bigger brush at this point, something more like that. And I'll go in with a brighter color. So this one instead of that one. And then put it over it and then blend up. And then because this is the brow bone and you're playing with lighting, you're going to pretend that the light is hitting your brow bone. So I'm going in with this shiny cream right here. And I'm just going to put it over there. So that'll blend together with the browns and it'll make it look like the light is hitting your face just perfectly. This is honestly the look that I go for the most when I'm in a rush going to a show. I can get a face with this done in about an hour if I really need to. Just because it's such an easy color to blend. Nudes are so great on any kind of skin tone just because your skin tone already reflects the colors that are in the shadow, so blending it is that much easier. And if you have brown eyes, it works perfectly because it'll just really make your eyes look great, so I don't have to wear contacts either. Whereas if I go in with other colors like blue, I'll usually slip in like a purple contact or something just to make my eyes pop. But I find with brown, it pops just by themselves if I do browns. This area right here is really hard to blend on just because of the fact that it's actually nowhere close to your eye. So the angle is really off, but you just have to kind of turn your head and do the best you can. And then because I want this brow bone to just be a little bit graded with a little bit of loose glitter, it's just a glitter. So really light with it and just go over where your natural brow bone is. The light would naturally hit. And I'm using gold glitter just to note the colors in the, and then keep blending with some more brown. I would usually have nose contour going down my nose here. So I basically just bring it into the same line just to make it look really natural. I say natural and it's literally my eyebrow is touching my temple, but as natural as it can be when your eyebrow is touching your temple. Blend, 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 blend. Then go in with a little bit of white powder. It's hard to find a really good white powder. I'm using the James Charles palette, and I find that even the white powder in this one isn't all that great, but it'll just blend anything that hasn't blended together quite nicely. Now, one of my favorite parts, you're gonna get your little brush again, the same one you used, just wipe it off on a towel or something, or a color switcher if you have one. And the same color you used your brow, that dark brown, go back in with that one, right at the base, just to make it look like your eye is really deep. And then get your bigger brush again and blend. Sometimes I'll even go in with like a pure black if I'm really going for an extreme look. Right here, just a line of pure black will make your eyes look really, really deep. And then I usually go in with an even darker shade right here and blend that out to the exterior corner without getting new powder. I find that with this line, blending with the smaller brush is a little bit better because you have a little bit more control over where you're going. And then with that darkest powder, I'll usually even go up here a little bit, just to make that line a little bit less harsh. You can use your fingers if you need to. I find they help with blending. But just always keep some moisturizer, because as soon as you touch makeup with your hands, they'll get dirty, and the moisturizer will keep it on your hands instead of putting it on your face. Blend that outside corner really well, especially if you went in with the dark powder like I just did. You don't want that to show at all. And then I'm going to go in and do the bottom of my eye. So I usually go in with my small brush first, take the same shades that you used on the top. For this look at least, I find it really fun if you're doing colors like blue and pink, top blue and the bottom pink or something like that. Since we're just doing nudes today, we're just going to go right up against where that we put there. You have to be careful to leave any kinds in between the liner, because that'll look funny. But if you're really careful, it'll look really, really good at the end. Just tap it on there without going in this little area. I say that as I put color there, but it's fine. And then go in with the bigger brush and blend that out. I don't like to bring the makeup too far down my eye onto my cheek, but just enough to cover all of those under eye wrinkles that we all have. And blend with absolutely no product on the brush. Then you're going to want to go into this inner corner with the darkest shade that you used on the top of the eye. And just get right in there. This is where the deepest part of that eye will be. And then blend it out. So this is all just the James Charles palette. It's really inexpensive. It's like $35, I think. That's Sephora. You can buy it online as well. I think it's a really good drag palette because it's inexpensive, it blends well, and there's not too much fallout. Just blend this down. Usually you'd have foundation all the way down your face here. But for today, we're just going to blend as far as we can since there's no foundation there. That's super fierce. Super simple. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit here, and I'll do like a little teardrop or something, just to open my eye up a little bit. I'm gonna go in with a gel. This is L'Oreal or something. No, L'Oreal. I'm gonna fill a negatives, and realize that now you're like a real again, instead of it like you were 2 minutes ago. And one thing that's comfortable is doing like lash line. If you don't do this part, your little whites. Once you put those on, probably gonna buy just a little bit. Beauty is pain. That really sucks. And that it's worth it. That it gives. I go into the bottom well, or sorry, the water. Fill in these negatives. The heart's going to be transition from the bottom of your eye to your water. Kind of have to make it look line, even though it's going over a bump. So to do that, you just slowly in. So see how that looks like a straight, even though I bring the water line onto the bottom of it. I really want to get that effect. And take your time, because if you rush it, it'll look really bad. But like, inner corner isn't fine. It's funky. And then the next part's couple. I find it's worth it takes. And some more white, and you cut. So be crease with shadow already. You could skip this part, but I think it's really important, and it really helps bring out the whites of your eye, make your eyes look alike. Basically, you just follow that negative. You can touch this up powder later if it's a little bit too hot. Okay. And you're gonna fill that bottom cell down here. And then you're gonna go in with this white ball. Then a few times it'll use just to blend out together. Then I'll give a big powder, that one, and my setting powder and all of that white that I did. Careful not to get setting powder in your eye. Probably about to do. Setting powder in your eye. Is it out? Lid. That sucks. It's fine. It just kind of feels like you'd put it in your eye to feel. Now if you don't set this part, it'll get through your lashes. So I find it really, really important to do that. Then, because I went in with the white powder, I'll usually go in and touch up all the powder once again. So all of the eyeshadow that I did, and this line right here, just touch it up, make it look nice and sharp again. blend this corner in so sharp a little bit more. Be super during this part, because if you it's up here, it's really hard to fix it, like I did. But we can fix it, learning experience. So because I messed up on the inside corner, just gonna more white cream and my little angled brush and just try to cover it. Just like that. And then dab, dab, dab. You're probably gonna need to do a couple coats though, just because the black is really hard to cover. And then there should be enough on that powder brush just to set it. And then try to make that corner sharp again without messing it up. So on stage, this is gonna look really big. It's gonna make it look like my eyes super, super big, like a Bratz doll, which is kind of the makeup look that I go for every day. Well, every time I do drag at least. So then we're actually almost done here. The next step is going to be lashes, and then we're gonna touch up all the little parts that we still see. So I use a local lash company. They're called Dash of Ari. They're out of Toronto, and they're all like really, really nice, thick drag lashes. So when you put your lashes on, you're gonna wanna make sure that the side that is smaller is on the inside and the bigger side is on the outside. So you should be using lash glue. I use Weave Bond. Don't use this on your eyes. Use it on your eyes. Don't use it. Do it. It'll work wonders. Don't use it though. If you use it on your eyes, you might go blind, but don't use it. Use it. Ever since I started using it, it changed my life. You just have to be super careful. But what's nice about it is that it dries right away. It goes on black, so it doesn't cover any of your liner. So then you're gonna just wanna make sure that the inside corner touches where it's supposed to. And the outside corner, I usually bring it up about 1/2 centimeter from my lash line. And because the filler is black anyway, you won't see that little space. And just tap it until it's nice and dry. You don't want to let it go before it's not dry, because then it might fall and you'll have to restart. And then, as you can see, I'm still missing bottom lashes. So what I'm gonna use for this is I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, and you can buy just normal, like daytime lashes. They don't have to be very big, and you're gonna cut them up. So I'm gonna use probably 2, maybe 3 for each eye today. And once again, go from biggest on the outside to smallest on the inside. Make sure there's nothing on it. Dip it into some lash glue and just dab, dab, dab. And this you're gonna put right on where that black liner is on the outside corner. And then this one's just gonna go on the middle, kind of underneath your pupil. And then the absolute smallest one goes on the very end, where you kind of won't even see it. But it'll be a little detail that you'll see if you really pay attention. And then usually you can go in with a little gemstone and put it in between each of those, and it'll give you a nice little shimmer. I forgot my rhinestones today, so I can't do that. Shocking. I have the memory of a goldfish. And that is that. That is how you do the Devana nude cut crease. And you go from that to that. It's super fierce. I'm living. I love it. I think it looks super good. It was easy. If you did this on the other side, you could probably do both eyes in half an hour if you were rushing. And then if you did a nice quick nude lip, contour, foundation, you could probably get this face done in an hour and a half. So thanks everyone for watching today, and happy Pride.
Thank you so much, Devana, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with all of us. I mean, based on my attempt to try to be an almost 30-year-old e-boy, do you think I should have learned some tips and tricks from Devana? Let me know in the comments what you think about my my desperate attempt to be youthful. I don't know, I was an emo kid. Well, that's not true. I wanted to be an emo kid. My parents wouldn't actually let me be an emo kid. Now that we spent a little bit of time learning more about one of the elements of the art of drag, let's focus on some of the other art forms that queer folks may use to express themselves. Next up, we have Wear Your Pride, presented by the Ottawa Art Gallery.